Yo, yo. How we doing, guys? I just vibing to this track before I was going to turn it off. This is a nice one. How we doing? And we got Richard's here. YouTube swapping our usernames and handles. Weird. Kalichia Gaucha. Did I say that right? Hello. Evening, mate. KB6DD. And Gary. Hello, mate. How are we all doing? I'm going to turn the... We'll get started once this track is done. Quite like it. Linky, how are we doing? I didn't realize that YouTube has changed everyone's usernames. Just dropped hype trade in Discord. I will look at it once I've run through my stuff. Merlin's here. Hello, mate. I'm good, Richard. Thank you. Had a bit of a headache. I need to get some of those glasses, those like red glasses. Having this thing on me is so bright. But I'm just staring at screens constantly. I can't find my normal glasses. I've looked everywhere for them. Everyone's still alive after the big drops recently, yeah? Gross Charts is here. Hello, mate. All right, that track's finished now, so let's turn this off before I get engulfed into another one. All right, let's do this, shall we? Let's get involved with what has happened in today's price action. Stream is partnered with Apex, which is Bybit's deck. So if you like my content, if you like my videos, I do these every weekday morning. I give a run through for Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Solana. I give trade plans within the Discord. There's a bunch of education in there as well, and some really good guys in there. So if you want to join, the link is in the description. And then once you're deposited, let me know your UID, and then I'll get you involved. There's no volume requirement to stay in the Discord just yet, but next year there will be. But for now, come and join, hang out, and trade on my ref link. That'll be great. So let's jump onto Bitcoin. Let's get straight into it. I'm going to run through everything, and then I'm going to go through the chat, and then we can look at Linky's trade, see if he's won or lost. And yeah, we'll take it from there. So I'm going to run through Bitcoin from H4. I don't think I need to go through all the daily stuff. You can go through my video, which I put up on X earlier today. You can just run through that. It was only like a 2-minute, 3-minute view on Bitcoin. So it should tell you all you need to know. So on H4, I put up a post, and I'm getting a lot of hate for it, actually, saying that if Bitcoin gets up to like the 96 to 98K area, which is this supply zone here, then I'll look for shorts. And basically, the reasoning behind that is that this is the level that broke this massive demand zone, 92K. This is where I targeted for my shorts for weeks now. And this is essentially why I took my TP at this level, was because I expected to get some sort of relief bounce. I actually thought it was going to come here, but this is kind of a really textbook structure, and there's a little bit of a gap between sort of this level here and this. So I think basically what we can see happening is Bitcoin coming to the deepest retrace level before the market structure changes, and it's either there or just like this little cluster here as well. It's I'm a bit unsure about it, but just this kind of like within this general vicinity is where I'd like to look for shorts. And I'd like for it just to come up, and then anyone who follows my stuff, just look for a reversal pattern where I get some lower highs and lower lows within a range, and then a breakdown with some strength, and then I'll be looking to short it. Really simple stuff. And the thing is with crypto is that people look at this bit here on the right, they look at the numbers and they say what can and can't happen. Whereas if you just look at the price structure, and if you just look at how the price action is formed, that will tell you everything. That's kind of where I base my levels from. So as I did say in my video earlier, the next big level for me is this kind of like 66 to 70K level down here. it's a bit more like that. So yeah, about 70K. I'd like to take a short down to here. And I think this is kind of where we'll bottom. And what I'd like to see on this time frame, on a really simple view, is we have this big high on this range that has been hit once here already. I'd like for it to come down and then kind of fake it, and then come up, flip it, and then start to build up for the next big move. And that might happen over a 6-month period. It might happen over a 12-month period, or it might even happen like over the next few months. I'm not really sure. But in terms of supply and demand, I just trade supply and demand. And through my experience with trading supply and demand for nearly 11 years now, I've noticed that price just goes between supply zone to demand zone, and from demand zone to supply zone. So this is the deepest retrace level for this move before the market structure changes. This is essentially where the decision was made, either here or here. And also we have a big number at 100K there. So if it can't flip 100K and uses it as resistance, then people are not going to be very happy. So this essentially is where the sell-off continued to break that level, that 92K level. So if it comes back up here, you'll get a few opportunities in a year where you've got a really big area in price action where you've got a big opportunity for something. And if you play it right, you can get a massive trade. And I think that is going to come around that 96 to 100K level. And it's going to come in one or two ways. It's going to either, let's say it builds a range here. This is going to be my ideal situation. It builds a range here, and then it's going to lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, and then crash back down in the same way that it does. Here we go. We've got a continuation range here where it comes down, ranges, fakes the high, and then breaks the low, and then continues. Let's see. We have another reversal type of range, not on this time frame, but on the lower time frames up here, where price pushes up, ranges, comes into the range, tries to push back up, drops below the range, hits the underside of the range high, drops down, and then pushes back into it at this point, and then breaks down with strength. So I'll be looking for this type of similar situation here at about 96 to 100K. That's like my ultimate level for a short. If we come up there, great. If it doesn't, then no worries. There's a few other levels worth talking about. I am just going to leave that on there because it is kind of, it could easily, let's say it's bound for this level, it could easily fake into it. But then also, like I said, with regards to having a big opportunity, yeah, sure, it could be a big short, but it could also start flipping the level and then start pushing up and breaking the market structure, and then we go up to new all-time highs. I'm not saying that's not going to happen, but if we're following previous cycles, then I think the high is in for the next 12 months based on what we've seen and what we've seen before. So this is the decision point, and this is kind of like the fake out level. And then on the break of this demand zone, we have an FTR, failure to return, which is basically just a continuation pattern. And price could come up to this point here and put in that range and then drop. But this is kind of a reaction to this point here. So I would be more inclined to see it come to the end of this chain. And the end of this chain is that 96 to 98K level. And then you've got the fake out level there. So we've had a really big move. Everyone's got, like what I said, if you've been tuning into my other live streams and you've been watching my videos, I said that everyone's going to start getting bearish once this level happens, gets broken, this 92K level. Above that level, everyone was bullish. And I said, when that happens, we're probably going to see some relief. We're probably going to see some ranging because everyone's going to start trying to pile into it. So I wouldn't be surprised to see if this does just range for the next few weeks before a potential big breakdown. But in terms of like, if you go through the replies to that tweet, people are fucking clowning me. It's really funny, but it's not that far away on this time frame. Like if you look at the drop that we had literally on what's that, nearly 2 weeks ago, like an 18% drop. And this is like a 20% drop from where we are to that level I'm talking about. Why is that unreasonable? Based on the price action and based on the trend, like this doesn't look like a bottom to me, but it looks like a relief bounce. So yeah, those are like my ideal levels. And I wouldn't, personally, I'm not a fan of longing up to resistance. I've been caught out with my pants down on that too many times. So I'm in a shorts only mode until 100K gets flipped. And I'm not sure it does, but we'll see. So on the hourly time frame, I said this level this morning is a potential level for a short if we see a range, but I also said it's kind of floating in midair. It's not really broken anything key. This here is just a retrace point, and it's not like a massive low, and that retrace point takes us back into supply and then drops. So it broke this retrace point, but it's not that significant. And the price action, if we just drop down to M30 on Bitcoin, it's not that clean. Like I want a clean range like what I showed you up here. Like this is a clean range. Right? And we were talking about selling this in the Discord the other week. That's a clean range. It's not so clean. This was the one near the high. This was a really clean range. And then there isn't that clean on this time frame. But you can see how this looks compared to down here where it's all just kind of messy and scrappy. So I said it's likely that it's going to come up to at least this level here. And let's just bring that a little bit neater to the extreme, about 93 to 94K. So at this point, and again, you can see just by the fact that we're following a chain, this is a reaction to here. This high is just a reaction to here. This high is just a reaction to here. This high is just a reaction to here. And then you've got a kind of like a little bit of a gap between here and here. And when you've got a bit of a gap like that, it's like a price action zone. It's basically the in-between of two supply and demand zones. And when you've got that between two levels, once you've got that little bit of space, you can find the ends of the chain like that. So it will be a big test of how bearish this market is if it drops from this next level, which is here at 93K. It may not even make it up there, but I would love to see a range form here and then send us lower. But I think more than likely we'll see more sideways, like a push up, and then we'll see it kind of, rather than range and then put like lower highs in and then drop like we've been seeing on this this trend. I think what we'll see probably is something a bit more like that. If we're to go down, I think it will build and take ages and like chop everyone around. Bearing in mind, we've had like a really big drop since October the 10th, right? It's dropped about 40%. And I think when price drops 40% in an uptrend, then it's a really good buy zone. But when price has been ranging for ages at the top and then drops 40%, particularly after testing the all-time high several times, and then dropping that hard, I don't think that's as bullish. So yeah, that's my next level. That's why kind of the reasoning why I've gone for that. If it doesn't make it up there, if it just kind of starts to come back down to this low, which I'm not sure it will, I think it's more likely to push up based on what we're seeing. I'll look for a range to form down here, and then look for a continuation pattern. But I think based on what I'm seeing, this is more likely to push up, as I said earlier this morning, and head for that 93K level. But it's all going to have to be a case of really being patient, because it could form exactly what I want here and then look like breaking down and then push up to the more extreme level up here and then put that move down. And the closer we get to 100k, the more bullish people are going to get. Again, this could be all a bull trap. It could be, dead cat bounce. It could be whatever you want to call it. But essentially, it is taken out. If we just go back to the daily time frame, it has taken out a huge level and broken the market structure. And when it does that, price tends to retrace to the deepest level. On this time frame, that would be about 106k here. On the H4 time frame, I mean, this is a clean level here. That kind of like 96, 98k level. So I think we're in a retrace before further downside. And the reactions from that post that I put up on X makes me still believe that enough people haven't lost hope yet for this just to continue up. So Bitcoin, Ethereum, also on H4. I've mentioned this level here about 3250 for the same reason as Bitcoin. Like, this is the deepest retrace level. This is kind of what I was talking about. You've got a supply zone here and you've got a supply zone here, and then you've got a really big gap between them. So it's easier to give strength to a level and kind of mark how key it is. So I would like it to come up back up to here about 3250, and then I want to start seeing some reversal signs and some signs of exhaustion, and then I want to take it down to 2400, which is where I think this move is ultimately going to go. And this is a pretty clean level. It comes down and puts in several lower highs and lower lows, and if it does break that, I wouldn't say the market structure has changed. But if it breaks this level here at 3600, then I would say, right, and then you can start getting pretty horny again. I can't see that at the moment, but yeah, this is a really clean level. So if we drop down to the hourly time frame on Ethereum, again, I'd said this morning that we have this level here. This is like an FTR on a retrace low. It hasn't really engulfed anything significant. This is just a lower low, gets put in, rounds off, and then puts in another low. So it could have, if this was further up in the trend and it hadn't, broken this key level, I would say, yeah, it's likely to continue from here, which is why we've been shorting it, like this kind of range here. And then what I was looking out for this morning, if it was going to be super bearish, was that a lower low here, a lower high, a lower low, and then another lower low, 3 lower lows out of this range with strength. And then I would have been happy to take a short continuation down to this point. But considering the way it's moved, and look at the way it has moved, it's very hollow. It seems very fake. It seems like profit taking. It seems like short squeezing. It seems basically like a very thin move. And I think that will top out at sort of exhaust at around this 3200 level. And then I'll look for shorts up there. Like so, just simple range reversal and shoot back down. It could also just round back off at some point back into this range and then fail like that. But it just pays to wait for these things. It just pays to wait for more price action to develop and, build the plan. So this is a good example of what I mean. So where I say things like, I'm going to look for a range at this level to form, and then I'm going to look for certain price action to short it. I was doing the exact same here. You can see the marking from this morning. It ranges, fakes the high and stabs into this supply zone extreme, and then drops down to the range low. Really what I want to see it, if I'm bearish, is for it to drop down below the range low and then start to put in a series of lower highs and lower lows. But it doesn't. It respects the range and then is now ripped to the upside. So I have no trade. I have no entry. My entry triggers are based on if and then statements. So if it does this, then I'll enter. But first of all, I need to see a pattern like this somewhere up here. Or like I said, come back down here and then range within the range and give me a trigger. But there's nothing here. But it all just seems like we've dropped so hard for basically all of November, and also a pretty significant portion of October, you know, this is where we had that big sell-off, right? It has barely had any relief. This is like the most relief it had, like at the beginning of the month, and it didn't even get to the end of the chain, which is here. Like I would have expected it to come up there, but it didn't, and it just completely nuked down. So now I think we're just in for the same. We're like a bit of a relief, bit of a boring week perhaps where there's not many clean opportunities. And then hopefully, if you're bearish like me, we'll get a nice big short opportunity up here. Same sort of situation with Bitcoin, right? Where it pushes up and then gets to the deepest level without changing the market structure, and then puts in a big opportunity. And then exactly the same with Solana. So if you've been following me and if you've been trading with me in the Discord, I've been saying for months and months about this 125 level. And then I said at this point, although I expect it to go lower, I'm not sure what happens at this level, whether it just completely nukes through it or bounces off of it. And at this point, it is bouncing off of it. So, you know, that was a pretty fucking good exit. The low was 121. And we TP'd in the Discord at 125. So now what I expected is for it to come back up, and in the same way that Ethereum has a similar structure, you got the extreme of this level here, which is yet to be, I mean, it's kind of been tested at this point. I've got all these like random yellow lines on here. Oh yeah, that's the ranges. Just get rid of them. I expect it to come back up there. It may come back. If it comes up to this 170 level, then this is really sweet. But I think it may just do exactly what it's been doing. It might come up here, drop, and then come back up, and then do something like that, and just like shake everyone out, like give everyone opportunities to get long, and then reverse on them, give everyone opportunities to get short, reverse on them. I just think we're going to get a lot of range, and I think the market is really, really tired. That's from what I'm seeing as well. Everyone's really salty. So on H1, I had marked this level, but again, it was kind of one of those levels where it's like, if things are super bearish, this should react to it. But we're coming from a really key demand zone. And don't forget, this demand zone is the origin of sending us up to $253. So I think on this time frame, the daily time frame, you've got this other big level here, this other big decision point, which helped push up price to that level. It gets broken, it gets a supply zone formed on it. And I think if the market structure is to change, it needs to flip this level and then get there. But I just can't see it. So I think it may come back up here and then form some sort of pattern, hopefully, that I can get short in. Because Solana is actually pretty clean in terms of the price action. It's really nice volume on it. So again, like you can see, it broke this level. If we drop down to the lower time frames, it's a very thin move. We've got a bit of a range that has formed on the break of it. Could come back down into the range and then push up like that. I don't think it looks like it's going to put a top in here. It'll look kind of weird. But if it does, it's going to be, if it starts breaking this range down, it's going to be super bearish. But again, I just think from what I'm seeing, I expect more sideways to form and then eventually break down across the market still. It's all just kind of seems like relief to me at the moment. But I is a trader, so if it breaks these levels with strength and puts in continuation patterns to the upside, I will take them. I'm not married to my bias, but it just it's paid to be short biased for several months now. And I don't think, if we put a bottom in, I don't think we see like a V reversal based on what we've seen. I think we see a lot of ranging for a period of time. So yeah, that's kind of my thoughts on everything. What do you guys think? Do you agree or do you disagree? All right, let's go into the chat. Linky did the hype trade. Yeah, let's look at that. Spot and chill. Jaffe, evening. Khalil, good evening. Remember to bombard the like button, just one click. Yes, thank you. Also, don't forget to bombard the Apex link and sign up and deposit on there, and then come and join the Discord. Right, let's look at Linky's hype trade. Let's all put pressure on him. It was a long, I believe. I don't know what time frame it was on though. It was like this down here, wasn't it? It looks quite good. It looks quite nice. Got to play probability, and that is swim with the tide. Yes, I completely agree. The trend is your friend until it isn't, right? So at some point, it won't be my friend anymore. I just hope I'm not in a bad trade at that point. So I think this is his trade here, like this, and you've gone long. Speak up, mate, so I can check this out. Or maybe it was M3, maybe it was M1. Yeah, M1. It was M1, wasn't it? I think I. So this is what I mean. Like you see a rally in price, you see price range, push up, come back into the range, push up, come back into the range, and then push up with strength. And it's kind of moving up now. I'm not sure how long this is gonna last for, but I would say, based on like everything else I've just been saying, it looks like that would be the target for me anyway. You know, it takes out these big lows. And then puts in this supply zone. This is kind of the decision point. Yo, it's M1. No, it's what's higher? Your range is higher, you mean? You can see, look at that. It is a really nice range. So when I'm talking about waiting for price to get up to levels and in range, this is what I want to see. Just push up range, and it's either going to give continuation signs like this one, or it will break down. How do I join Apex? Can I trade spot on Apex? Yes, you can trade spot on Apex. They have something called Omni Spot. Just click the link in the description, and then you connect your wallet, any wallet, to it. It's non-KYC, and deposit on there, and then send me your UID, and then I'll send you the link to the Discord. Waka. Hello. I think I said that right. Sorry if I didn't. Yeah, that looks quite good. Nice trade. Where are you targeting? I would target 34. But I would trail my stops along the way. Anyone else want me to look at anything? Otherwise, we can wrap it up pretty early, or if you've got any questions or whatever. I hope that all makes sense. No one's really kind of disputing what I said on the majors. Thank you. Please, can you look at towel? Is that it? On Binance. Okay. Oh, this is a difficult one, right? So you've got the low here, and then you've got let's do our analysis. Hey, demand and golf. So that's the bottom of this massive. That's the massive demand zone there. So I've just marked the extreme. It takes it out, and then you've kind of got this zone here. And then also this sell-off point here. And then you've got on the kind of break of them. If I just bring that all the way across, it makes it look a little bit kind of. You can see this was a very key supply, very key support demand zone. bounces off it once, lower high, bounces off it again, wicks all the way down here, and then pushes up to a new high, and now it's taking it out. So on H4, there's your end of the chain. I'd say, or maybe even up there, it's very scrappy, very low volume. So I would say it might rebound up to here. I don't know whether it's going to drop back down below afterwards or head even higher, but the trouble with coins like this is that there's not a huge amount of volume. So I don't know, but if this was a higher volume chart, if it was like a major like Bitcoin, I would say it would be due up for like 350 by the looks of it. It looks low volume. I have no idea what it is. Can you do analysis of ZEC? Yeah. So look at what's happened here. Looks like a top. Yeah, it looks like a top. I would say, so you've got kind of a clean range here, but it's in the middle of nowhere really. I would mark it just a bit like this though. Oops. So you see it pushes up, ranges, tries to push higher, lower low, lower high. Maybe if it goes and creates a lower low, you could look for another lower high and then another lower low to enter short, or you could enter here and then look for a breakdown. I would just keep watching it. It looks to me like it's put in a top. Like you've got the push up here, drops, pushes up, tries to make a new high and can't, goes lower to reload, tries to push up above the high, but it can't. Look at all these wicks to the upside, and then it drops, puts a lower low in, comes back up, puts in a lower high, and then lower low. I think it may do the same. This is probably a really nice range that has formed at the high as well. Look. Yeah, that is really clean. So you see this on H2, price pushes up to the high, ranges, and then breaks down, respects the underside, and then comes back up, and then respects the range high several times before breaking down with strength, and then creates a lower low, pushes up, wicks, and then has now created a little range, which is breaking south. So I would say, based on its behavior, we kind of see this here like that. And we kind of got, and then you got your lower, your higher low. I would say if it comes back into this range and can't get above it, and then fails with strength, you could probably short it. That's what, that's what I'd look for if I was trading this on H2. Just 2R. Oh, your link is looking for 2R. Cool. Yeah, 2R is good. Can't wait for BTC to hit the key level. Yeah, that'd be good. That one that I talked about, yeah, about 96, 98K, yeah? Yeah, that'd be very good. Do you day trade? Yes, I day trade. I day trade Forex. In the Discord, sometimes when there's a really good opportunity, I'll trade M15 on crypto, which is what we've been doing for the past few weeks on Solana, Ethereum, and Bitcoin, and we've been killing it. It's not all the time. It's not all the time. It's only when we've got really clean levels. What are your thoughts on the market with quantitative easing? Would it make a difference? Yeah, it does. It does. But I never know which way it's going to go. That's the thing. Typically, you would expect it to drop the market because they're flooding the supply again with more cash. The monetary supply, that is, not the Bitcoin supply. And that kind of devalues. Sorry, you would expect it to go up because of that. But it normally kind of goes down. I think it's to do with the risk that people are willing to take, like big funds. But I don't really look at that kind of stuff, to be quite honest. There are probably way better people out there. Well, there are definitely way better people out there to tell you about that. I'm just a price action trader. I just draw lines and colorful boxes and have patterns burned into my brain from many years of staring at them. Yeah, the key level I said about Bitcoin in the beginning for a potential big trade. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that if it gets up there. Just beware the rogue wicks on Apex if you're trading ZEC. Yeah, I don't know much about that, but Richard's been experiencing that. Yeah, I'm not sure what time frame you're on as well. Thanks, Matt. We'll sign up on Apex. Nice one. Yeah, then let me know on Twitter your UID. Send me your UID, and then I can match it up once you've deposited, and then we'll get you in. But yeah, cool guys. I'm gonna wrap it up there because I've got a massive headache and this light is glaring down on me. I've got a great eye for spotting patterns. Make it look easy. Thank you. It's too many hours doing this in front of the charts, but I appreciate it. 5 minute time frame on Apex on ZEC. Yeah. Yeah, it's just one of those things. Maybe when you do it, just be a little bit extra patient and a little bit more aware that those things happen, and then look for entries. Cool. Get well soon, mate. Thank you. Nice one, Matt. Yeah. Cheers, guys. Hope you have a good evening, and I will see you guys who are in the Discord tomorrow, and those who are looking to join, like I said, send me your UID once you signed up on Apex, once you've deposited, and then we'll get you in there. All right. This stream is like meditation for you. I think that's a compliment. Cheers. All right. Take care, guys. Bye-bye.